Welcome back to Everyone Has a Story, True Tales from Everyday Life. I'm so glad you're here. I want to tell you a story about my oldest sister, Helen. She passed away several years ago, but memories of her are legend. She was so full of life and loved to have fun. And she taught me a lesson that I'd like to share with you today. One of my favorite pictures of my sister Helen was taken at a family holiday party in the early 2000s. She's wearing a red turtleneck with a crazy Christmas print vest. She's got felt reindeer antlers with flashing lights on her head and a tambourine in her hand. And the biggest Helen grin you ever did see. Ironically, on the bar right near where she's sitting is a martini glass. I say ironically because it isn't hers. Helen never drank alcohol. The picture is so wild and raucous looking, one could imagine she must have had a few cocktails. But no, Helen was high on life. She loved her family and her life and her God. She needed no chemical assistance to enjoy loud music and laughter. And her absolute favorite time of the year, second only to Halloween, was Christmas. She was the epitome of a happy child, despite her 60-some years, every time the turn of the calendar brought us to December. And I remember that party well. Several of us were gathered together in the family room because, well, that's where the music was. And anywhere the music was, that's where you could find both Helen and me. My grandniece and nephew were in there with us, as well as three of my closest friends, one of whom was dancing up and down the spiral stairs and making us all howl with laughter. It's a wonder he didn't break his neck that night. I think someone was on a run of playing Bob Seger music. I vaguely recall belting out old-time rock and roll while Helen banged on the tambourine, and another friend grabbed the djembe drum and beat out quite a rhythm. Despite not meeting her until I was 30 years old, that's a story for another time, Helen was a kindred spirit. She and I hit it off immediately. In fact, at that very first meeting, we ended up sitting up talking until the wee hours of the morning, I guess trying to make up for lost time. She was a powerfully passionate woman. She believed what she believed, and she loved who and what she loved. And that was all you needed to know about her. In that way, she was delightfully simple. Not in a derogatory sense of the word. No, not at all. In the most wonderful sense of the word. She told you what she thought. She wasn't wishy-washy. You always knew where you stood with her. And she loved with her heart wide open, no mysteries involved. Like me, she had a temper, and while she wasn't proud of it, she accepted it about herself and strove honestly to be judicial with it. She raised 2 children with her beloved husband and was one of the most devoted moms I'd ever known, other than my own. She embraced her role in her household with pride and a fierce commitment to be the best wife and mom she could be. She railed against coffee clutches and stay-at-home moms that didn't take their responsibility to their homes and families seriously. She did her job as a wife and mom as intently as if she'd been hired into a salaried position. I always admired her for that. And she was a damn good sister to me for the 10 short years I had her. I could talk to her about anything, at any time of the day or night. She was there during my worst times and my most joyful. I never doubted for one moment how completely she accepted me, even in our late beginnings of sisterly bond. Like our father before her, Helen left this world far too soon, and far too abruptly. One morning she was joking with me, and by that night she was gone. Just gone, forever. And she left the way she had prayed to her God that he would allow, quickly and without pain. She was afraid of the actual dying, not what would follow. "Lord, just take me quick," she would say, only half jokingly. "Don't scare me or rip me into pieces doing it. Just make it quick. I don't want to be scared or hurt." And he did indeed. She was the true matriarch of Dad's family. I learned later, sadly, that she was a superglue who held us all together and made us toe the family line. When she said we were getting together for a holiday, someone's birthday, or just because, we did it. When she said it was time to draw names for Christmas gift giving, we may have griped a bit because September seemed too early. But we did it. After she left, things unraveled. But the memories of that decade I was allowed to share with her have remained and will remain forever in my heart. Memories and stories to last my lifetime. Some of my silliest moments were spent with her. Side-splitting laughter, warm comfort, and a deep feeling of belonging. That was my sister Helen. I still have the tambourine. The reindeer antlers didn't make it, but I got replacements. And the djembe, I still have that as well. I live in the desert now, far away from my Ohio home, but everywhere in our new home, Helen lives in the bits and pieces of her gifts, things she loved, and photos of her smile. Life is what you make it. It is always your choice and yours alone, whether you smile and laugh or hold on to pain and sadness. Helen lost our shared dad when she was barely 20 years old, and the scar of that pain never left her. And yet she chose to embrace the memories and to be there for me, to recount the stories of him, so that I could know him also, through her and his family. She shared these things with me with great joy. Her life was about joy and laughter. When I needed a good side splitter, I knew where to go. She and I would always find some way to get into trouble or mischief. Our sister Diane tells the same kind of stories, mischief-making, silly situations that belonged on I Love Lucy rather than real life. Helen had her hurts and her challenges, but she taught me that it was okay to laugh in the midst of it, not to take things too seriously, because more often than not, they would work themselves out in time. And she was right. Take time to laugh. Take time to be raucous with friends and family. Be joyful. You never know when it may be your last opportunity. Don't waste it. So put on your reindeer antlers, grab a tambourine, and live your life as full as you dare. Do you have a family member or friend who is as full of life as my sister Helen was? What's the funniest thing you remember of them? We love funny stories. Please share yours in the comment section below. And consider subscribing with notification bell on if you enjoy content like this. And a thumbs up sure would be appreciated as well. Thanks for visiting with us. We hope to see you next time on Everyone Has a Story, True Tales from Everyday Life.